Hey guys, what's going on today? Random Andrew here. Welcome to the Daily Random Vlog. Before we jump into today's vlog, I really gotta share something very cool, very important with you guys. South Coast Hobbies has a draw going on again. They just got done raffling off a 1/8 scale Armor Raider that was brushless power and just a monster machine. It got raffled off. Very happy owner, drove 3 hours from 3 hours away to come pick it up. That's pretty awesome. This draw that's currently going on, so if you're watching this vlog at a later date, check the date to see if this is the current vlog or current raffle that they're doing. But it's a $20 entry. Contact South Coast Hobbies and Rides for payment options. I do believe they're doing some sort of e-transfer. They also do shipping if you happen to win. That's a plus right there. I don't know if they pay for the shipping. That's what you got to talk to them about. But what they're going to be auctioning off this time, or they are auctioning off, raffling off, not auction. Why do I keep saying auction? Not an auction, it's a raffle. They're raffling off a 1/16 scale brushless mini summit. This thing is awesome. I have seen many summits before. They're built on the Mini Revo platform. You can do a lot of things with them. I had that Merv the Pink Bastard. It was based off of a Mini Revo, which is also, like I said, a mini summit. Hef's Project Overkill, Merv Overkill, is also a mini platform. So that little summit, if you end up being the one that wins it, if you get in on that draw, you're going to be a very happy camper with that little toy. My name's already in on it. Fingers crossed, hoping that I got a lucky number this time. On with the vlog. Told you guys a couple of days ago that I was going to get you a peek inside the front differential of Clifford once I felt like actually doing it. I knew there was going to be something messy inside. Without further ado, have a look at this. Alrighty, I promised you guys a look inside the differential. Remember, this is the front diff, the one that was making all that noise. And I tell you, before I even start to go on and on about this mess, I'm going to tell you something right now. If you've got a friend who's been into RC, or let's say you get into a hobby and you got a friend who's been into that hobby a long time, and he's like, oh, sounds like this, or oh, sounds like your front diff bearing exploded. You gotta listen to the guy, because I tell you, 8 times out of 10, Hef is always right. You got that, brother. You're always right with this stuff. You've had your summit a long time. You put a talon back. Can you guys see that in there? Let's see if we can get the focus up close. Because it doesn't want to. But if you look, you see the little cluster of bearings sitting just to the side of where the actual bearing should be. Now those are the little ball bearings that sit down inside the bearing itself. Yeah, I know it was trying to focus. We'll just say it's going to give up. And then you can also see a bit of flakiness, a bit of shininess right in along where that ring gear usually sits inside. Those would be the remaining bearings, I bet. So yeah, I gotta get that bearing race, the outer race. This is when you look at a bearing, let's find one that's not covered in crud. You look at a bearing, you see the inner metal part spins separately than the outside. That's called your inner race. That's just a hair. But the inner and outer races hold those little tiny ball bearings in place, and it spins around like it's designed to do. And I don't know why it's fighting me for focus today. Come on, autofocus. It's just not going to do it. But yeah, just to kind of explain that real quick, inner and outer races. So the outer race is still stuck inside of that, and then the other bearing is pretty much pooched too. So I'll be getting some new bearings. I think I might still have a couple from when I got my Acer bearings. And there's your inner race. Oh jeez. So yeah, it self-destructed. There's a little metal retainer piece. Another little metal retainer piece. They've had it. They're done. Now, for you guys who've had this happen before, you're wondering, what condition is my ring gear in? Let's have a look. actually not too bad. Hang on a second. Trying to hold it in a manner that it's going to try and get some kind of close-up. Any kind of close-up? No, nothing? Well, this will have to do. You can see there's a little bit of chew right to the middle. If you go halfway down each tooth, it's all the way around like that. Maybe those bearings were freely punching through there. So I will have to replace my ring gear eventually. I bet you this will still work. But I mean, even inside the diff itself, can you guys see that play? Okay, so like both sides, when you flex both sides, you actually get angle. Eek! That's not gonna cut it. So I'm gonna pull that apart and have a look at it too. Inside of here, just a bit dirty. You can see again those metal filings. Not a pretty sight. That's alright. This is outside away from the mess. So I've got my work to do. This is still good. Just gotta be cleaned up. So needless to say, Clifford is gonna be out for a while. So yeah, kind of a little bit of a down note that I can't take Clifford out in the conditions that he would really thrive in. A Traxxas Summit, come on, in that snow. And a set of trencher X's, so those are the wider, bigger trenchers. You just have a little more fun in the snow with that truck, but alas, I'm gonna have to figure out if I can still use that ring gear, and I'm gonna have to replace at least 2 bearings inside there. Not a big deal. I might even have those somewhere in this whole mess that I call the work area. Now onto this whole snow thing. Now that I mentioned snow, we're supposed to get even more, and it's supposed to drop to like minus, I don't know. It's been minus 20 some the last few nights, and now it's gonna be even worse. So taking the trucks outside, I'm not really inclined to want to do so. I might go out front and I might rip around in the front yard a little bit today. I might even film some of that, but I'm still just not really feeling like I want to be out there in this cold. I tell you folks, this winter we're making up for all these warm winters we've had. So I'm guessing by now, most of you who watch the vlogs regularly will have seen my latest update to my Axial Scx10 Deadbolt. I call it the Mondo Gecko because, well, it's green. It kind of reminds me of a summer beach truck, like a California beach cruiser or something like that. So it's the Mondo Gecko. And there it is right there, the latest edition. That looks like the 3D printed Grille you can get on Amazon, but trust me, it's better. I don't know. Well, what makes it better is handmade, and anything that time and energy goes into the production of, and not just a machine milling it out or printing it out. I honestly think the handmade, if it looks good, is better. Now, it was kind of it was easy but yet complicated to make because I didn't really have much in the way of tools. I used a hacksaw, a file. Yes, I did use a Dremel for a slight small bit of it, just in smoothing the roundness of the holes where the light pods would attach in the back. I had Harvest light pods from a mid-80s RC, and it worked, you know, with the LEDs that Chad gave me. It lights up beautifully. It matches up with those fog lights. They're just a little bit inset of where those headlights line up. And the grill is about this actual grill piece in the center is about the only piece that I'm not quite 100% satisfied with, because I did not have a proper Dremel cutting tool to actually cut those. So I just used metal sticker to kind of give it that look. But it looks good. It changes the whole look of the front end of the truck, in my opinion. Oh, and these came in the Axial kit. Have a closer look. They're like a light guard. There you go. And I just kind of shaved them flat on the back with a X-Acto blade or a razor, and tacked them in place with tire glue. Everything's holding so far. So yeah, if you feel creative and you can be productive, you don't even need really high-tech tools to do it. Just take your time. If you rush through it, things never look exactly right when you rush through. So I'm thinking, being that there was a pretty good reaction, my Instagram exploded when I shared the picture of that, and I got a few good comments through the Facebook and the YouTube about how did I do it, you know. So I'm going to try to do a small, somewhat of a walkthrough of it today. I'll show you the tools I'm working with, the materials I've got, and the steps I'm taking. But I'll try not to make it like drag on. I'll try and make it interesting, alright? I'm not 100% at my video making these days. I've been feeling kind of down and draggy, but it's not in a way that it's the videos that are causing that feeling, or the repetition of doing so, because that's what gives me a day. That's what my purpose of my day is creating this vlog, filming, finding things to film, the quest of positivity. So, it's not that, I haven't been feeling very motivated lately. It's the winter blues. That's what it is. See, blue, winter blues. Alright, for this little deadbolt front grille faceplate walkthrough type thing, I'm going to attempt my hardest to do this good for you guys today. You're going to need a few tools. These aren't purpose tools that I ran out and bought for the project. They're just what I happen to have that I figured I could do this project with. Now, you may have better tools sitting at home to do this work with. So what I've done first of all, is I measured it out using the front of the deadbolt. I already had this template made from the first attempt. Yeah, that's it. And this is the template that I'm working with. To create the template, use your imagination. Okay, it's got to be the shape. Your headlight holes have to be a rough cut. I usually leave them a little bit thinner than the lens cover that I shape them up with. Now it just so happens that in that Axial kit you get a bunch of these extras. Some have the PIAA, some say Axial, then there's blanks. I'll use blanks. Like I said, you want those holes to be just a little bit smaller, so when you're doing your you're cutting your plastic, you've got a little extra room to work with. Okay, so now that I have that, got the Dremel tool, measuring tool, caliper, micrometer, whichever you want to call it, square, a right angle square, hacksaw, a piece of sandpaper. And the Dremel bit I've got is nothing special, it's just a sanding tool, a grinding tool. Also going to be making use of this. It doesn't have a cutting wheel on it at this moment, but it's to hold the cutting wheel in the Dremel tool, so that maybe we can get some actual slots cut in the front of this. I almost wouldn't mind making one that has the Axial design in the front, you know, but their Axial design is a little bit wider. So, where to start? Well, I want to take this piece, which came from the casing of a dollar store toolkit. I just happen to have it laying around. Thickness. Let's see if we can get you guys a thickness on it. It's roughly 2 millimeters thick. Okay, so it's not very thick at all. You don't want something big and bulky on that front end. Plus, if it's too thick, it's going to be really hard to work with. So, there's a couple ways you can do this. You're going to want to shave all this excess off. This is from my previous cut. But you're going to want to roughly get an exact parallel cut of that thickness. And how I managed that the first time, and it seemed to work really good, was I started cutting a slot in here at that measured thickness, and the same on this side, and then I cut through these so that that kind of holds it in place, and then this cut here as you're coming down across here ends up being a nice parallel cut. I'm going to go ahead and do that cut and then show you guys the result. Oddly enough, I measure this, I get 23. I measure the one that's on the deadbolt that I've already made, and I got 26. Now I might not be able to measure it properly because it's on the front of the deadbolt. So I'm actually going to cut this, when I do the plastic cut, I'm going to cut to 25. Yeah. That's the other thing too, handmade. No two pieces are exactly the same. Hey guys, our first rough cut number 1. It's actually pretty dang close to the dimensions it needs to be. And you know, no matter how much I measure it, when I look at it, this side still seems like it's taller than this side. But I think it's just, I don't know. I think it's fine. Because when I measure it, everything comes up proper. Okay, next is on to rough marking the center of these holes. And then I guess I can cheat and use the Dremel to hone them out a bit this time. Alright, to do that, I'm going to go on the back side of it. Place that. I'm going to actually hang on to it while I do it, because then I can reassure that this little template's not going to shift around on me. Headlight placement is pretty important, you know. You don't want things to end up cockeyed. Plus, like I said, I'm not doing these holes exactly as large as they need to be. I'm just doing them slightly undersized, and then I can hone them out to make sure the exact evenness. Doing it all by eye, but my eyes are pretty often correct, if that sounded any bit proper. Okay, a little bit of time later, and the holes are cut for the lights. Not bad, eh? Take your time, things can turn out rather nice. But I did something different this time than I didn't do with the last setup. So let me throw it together. Not gluing it, just pressure fitting it for now to show you guys kind of a mock-up of sorts. I actually have them sunken in to those headlight rests. I think that looks pretty good. Next will be figuring out, do I do 5 slots or do I do 7 like Jeep actually has? It's not a Jeep, so I don't know if I want to do that. Being that I'm now able to do this within a couple of hours, mind you, for you guys it's only been a couple of minutes, but knowing I can do that, I might actually start producing these for the guys looking for deadbolt grills. I'm going to need more materials, so. The other thing is, when you're doing this on the truck side, not the grill side, you gotta have those reflective headlight pods and at least 12 volt LEDs going in them. I guess that would be up to the person putting them in though. I'm just making a grill. In the meantime, I think I'm gonna bundle up and go out front just for a little RC fun. Nothing serious, nothing fancy, just playing around in the snowbanks out front. Is it snowbanks? Snow trails? I don't know. It's just something to do with the RC to hold me off until we get some good weather. Yes, I actually have to RC every day. If I don't, it just doesn't feel like the day was proper. Plus, this is going to let me know how those lights work out in the cold. I haven't tested that grill. It's only mounted with hot glue. But I want to see if it's going to hold up to this -20 out there. If it falls off, it falls off. It just saves me a step of having to change the other one later. And it gets you guys a good look at those lights lit up outdoors. We'll see how it does. Now I know there's not as much to see when it's dark out, but I want it to be a little dark out so the lights all show up. See what I mean about the headlight placement? I think this turned out pretty darn good. And even if you think about it, where the light bar is, in comparison, like for its headlight, or its brightness compared to the headlight brightness, the headlight should be a lot, or that light bar should be a lot brighter as it is, right? Brighter than the headlights. I think it's time to head in, guys. It's pretty cold out here. We've had our fun. Welcome to Fogland. All you can see is a light bar. Well, yeah, this is just a consequence of coming in from out of the cold. This lens always likes to fog up. There you go. Oh, geez, yeah, it's cold out there. My eyes were watering, tears were freezing to my face, and then my nose started leaking, and those started turning into like dripsicles of some kind. So, I'm gonna let this camera defog, and it'll pick a brightness level eventually, and we'll catch up from there. We'll get back to doing that work on the Deadbolt grill. Break over. Alright, everything's unfrozen, defrosted, defogged. The lens is defogged. I want to talk before I get doing the cutting section here, and I got some thinking to do. Spacing issues. I've got 6.5 centimeters across this way. And I'm looking for what kind of space I'm going to work with in the middle here. If you notice, I got thicker sides on either side here, so I think I'm going to go with about that much spacing between the edge of this light hole and where I'm going to start my grooves. The distance for each of these sides comes in at about 8.5 millimeters. So if I leave about that much space and then start my center grill, yeah, so let's figure this out. I figure I got about 5 centimeters, 50 millimeters to work 5 or 6, 7 slots into. So I'm going to sit down, I'm going to look at it for about an hour or two and think about it really hard before I do any cutting or any kind of marking before the cutting. I want to make this as nice as I can make this grill, because now that I've got it set so these pods can be sunken into it, or these covers, it's going to look really good, and I might just swap it with the grill that's on the truck. Ta-da! There you go. That actually doesn't look too shabby. Might have to switch that up once you get lights in behind it, and the green from behind the grill of the Deadbolt's front piece showing through. Front clip. Yeah, I think that actually turned out pretty decent. And that's the big project for the day. Once again, creativity and productivity meeting together reign supreme. Well, I don't know if it's supreme, but I mean, it turned out pretty decent. And it gave me something to do all day, right? Imagine now, what could I do with a 3D printer? Just a thought. I mean, Sam and Chad Waters down at South Coast Hobbies have 3D printers there. And ever since I seen them sitting there, I was like, it's a little bit more than I can afford investment ways, but a damn good price for 3D printers. As you know, those things aren't cheap. But every time I see that, and ever since I seen them sitting there, I keep thinking, I might need a 3D printer. Think of the things I could do, the scale accessories, the parts that haven't been made or created yet. Like, it's unreal the possibilities those little machines can provide. But I'm going to wrap the vlog up with a thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your guys' time. I appreciate your support. If you're not yet a subscriber, please do me the biggest favor. Click that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed today's video, click like. They're right next to each other. I mean, they're close down there, so it doesn't hurt, right? Yeah. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Hope you guys had a great day. Think positive. Stay positive. Keep a smile on your face, and we'll see you here tomorrow. Good night. Vlog over.